Hello everyone, my name is Somaya Mohammadi. I'm a lecturer from Technological University Dublin. I'm going to present this paper. It's investigation of ultra-wideband UWB signal based on the pulse duration. And this study was done in order to find out what would be the optimum value for localization, depends to different applications. My apologies if you hear my baby's goo goo gaga in the background. I'm on my maternity leave and I couldn't arrange any babysitter. All right, let's go. So what is ultra wideband signal? It's a very cool signal. It's competing closely with Bluetooth and GPS, and the features are slightly different. UWB signal has very low power, as you can see. It's almost close to noise level. On the other hand, it is very wide. You can see the frequency starts from 3 gigahertz all the way up to 10.6 gigahertz. So we have a large area of frequency spectrum to occupy. So these characteristics makes it unique, and the applications are slightly different from the GPS and Bluetooth and all other signals that you might be familiar with, especially when it comes to Internet of Things. So as I would highlight it more than anything else, the power consumption. This is something that we are really interested when it comes to low battery applications, places and areas that you don't want to go regularly and change the battery. Sensors that are in areas that you don't have access regularly to change the battery or check the battery, and the data that are coming from different variety of sensors, and the power consumption is particularly low, but you want to have that accuracy that you want from UWB signal. So how did it come up? It's a long time ago, and the main application was hidden from public because of certain reasons. But then when it was publicly available, people started to use it. And nowadays it has a good range of applications, as you can see in new mobile phones. It is built in, and if you want, you can make use of it and find it useful to find things. I'm going to explain that a little bit further. I have this image here. I took it from that website. It's a nice way of describing UWB and make it more understandable, and the comparison will become more clear in contrast with GPS. Like the way that you navigate your way when you're driving to find the place that you want to go using GPS in your car, or you're walking in a city and you want to go to a certain building and you use the Google map or whatever navigation system you have on your phone. Just compare that scale to the scale of finding a single object in a supermarket, or entering a big shopping mall and finding a certain shop that is selling your ideal product based on UWBC. Just compare the scale here. So you can come up with millions of ideas what you can do, what it can be done with UWB, and that's exactly why I was attracted to this particular signal. So it particularly will help me as a mom. I have many stories telling you I lost my key, I didn't know where is my key, I lost my wallet, I didn't know where is it. I lost my mobile phone, I didn't know where it is. I lost my smartwatch, I didn't know where it is. I have loads of stories like that. And even tracking toys around the house, or tracking many objects, even in large buildings. If you miss one of your personal objects, it's a big dilemma to go back and find it. But if you have that kind of tagging system attached to your belonging, it becomes a lot more easy. This is only one application. You can imagine a big field of agriculture scenario I'm describing here. Just imagine a big field, and you have sensors that are reading data and sending it to the nearest server. So you don't want to go and check on those sensors regularly because they are far, and you are a single person minding a big field. Just imagine if you have UWB signal system established there, how easy it can be for you. So this would be, why we like the UWB, and what could be the challenge with that. The challenge would be actually the type of the signal that we are generating. So obviously the power is very low and the frequency is kind of wide. So it would be interesting to know what, in terms of optimization, in terms of making it better, can be done on this signal, because it is kind of a signal that was not available for a long time, and now that it is available, we want to make the most use of it that way. So I was interested to know, can I apply my typical signal processing systems or techniques to optimize the signal? So I examined the signal I generated using simulation software, and then I played around with some parameters. One particular parameter that plays a very important role based on this study is called pulse duration. Why do we call it pulse duration? Because the nature of UWB signal is very similar to a pulse. If you plot it, you would say that, okay, this is a pulse, and that pulse comes and goes. You send it and you receive the reflection, and based on that duration that takes for the pulse to go and come back, and based on the type of the pulse that you're sending, the width of the pulse that you're sending, you are receiving different information. And that's exactly how you're doing the localization, how you're finding your object that has UWB tag attached to it, and so on. So based on this study, I played around with pulse duration, and I measured few things. One thing that I measured was the bandwidth, okay, how much frequency I'm occupying. And another measure that I did was based on data rate, megabit per second. So data rate is hot. You want fast. That is related to how fast the communication happens. And bandwidth is related to how much data you're sending and receiving. So it depends to certain applications, you may need slightly higher bandwidth. In some applications, you may want lower bandwidth, or it is feasible to apply lower bandwidth and compromise that and optimize other features if possible. So on these figures, you can see that when I'm moving from very low pulse duration, which is 10 nanosecond, all the way to 100 nanosecond, you can see that the data rate is reduced exponentially. And on the top, you can see the bandwidth, the gigahertz frequency that I'm occupying, is also reduced. The behavior is very similar, but be careful of the units. So I'm looking at moving from about 70, 80 megabit per second all the way to 10, 20 megabit per second. And then on the bandwidth side, I'm looking at 0.03 gigahertz. So you can see the bandwidth all the way to 0.00, a value, that range. So again, I'm not sending or receiving videos, I'm not looking at those kind of data. I'm looking at data that are, related to the localization or small data that is being read by a sensor or a switch that is turned on and off, that kind of data. So more results, yeah. Again, we checked, all right, you have the bandwidth that can be varied based on the application. You have the data rate, which you can optimize. So what happens to the localization accuracy? Accuracy is something that is the reason you're moving from GPS to localization in the first place. So you want to make sure that it is optimized. So on the top right side, I have localization accuracy based on meter. I decided that is the best way of, looking at accuracy. Okay, how accurate I am if I'm playing around with the pulse duration. So you can see that when I'm increasing the pulse duration, my localization accuracy is also increased. Yes, you want to say hello? And then on the bottom figure, you can see that the pulse duration is increased and the tracking speed. What is tracking speed? Again, is related to how fast you're communicating, how fast you're sending the pulse and receiving the pulse, and based on that, it means that if the object is on move, how fast you're tracking it. That's a very cool feature. We don't have that in GPS. So we are looking at meter range. So if object that you're looking for is moving within meter range, you can track that. That's a very cool feature of UWB. So you can see that the speed is reduced by pulse duration. Because so far we are talking about, okay, pulse duration goes higher and the accuracy goes higher, and then, so why would you go down? This is the reason why would you go down. Because the tracking speed. And tracking speed is something that you really want to, especially in certain applications. So here on the other way, I have range. I studied the effect of pulse duration on the range. Range is another feature that you might be interested. You want to know what scale of application you can apply the signal to. So you can see that when the pulse duration is increased, the range is also increased. So here you would come up with the optimum value. Let's say you want one update per second, okay? One update per second. So that means that every second you have a new update. So let's say that is your desired application. And then you want a range between 10 to 15 meter range. All right. So if you look at this plot, that would give you about 80 nanosecond pulse duration from the range side. But here, look at this plot here. If you are looking at that kind of a speed, your pulse duration should be between 2 and 3. So this study is useful in terms of coming up with a certain value that would work for different applications and gives you understanding of how to pick the pulse duration, how to design your system based on what you want, what's your priority. So conclusion, this study looked at UWB's pulse signal, and based on the time of arrival and time difference of arrival, we calculate the duration of the pulse, and based on that we studied the accuracy of localization, we studied the bandwidth, we studied the range, and so on. So future study would be to relate all this study to certain applications, and also looking at amplification option. So how can we receive that signal and amplify it and extend the range and bandwidth and so on. So thank you very much for listening to me. If anyone is interested to collaborate with me on this project, feel free to contact me. It might worth checking my CV and my Google Scholar and LinkedIn website. I have other projects that I'm interested in.